What if I told you that the epic tale of the Trojan War, full of love, betrayal, and heroism, might not be just a myth, but a historical event? The Trojan War, a saga that has captivated imaginations for centuries, is believed to have its roots in Homer's Iliad. Woven into the fabric of this epic poem are stories of legendary characters like Helen, the face that launched 1,000 ships, and Paris, the prince of Troy who stole her away. Then there's Achilles, the invincible Greek warrior with a fatal heel, and Hector, the noble Trojan prince who fell at his hands. But the story doesn't end with mere mortals. The gods themselves, from Zeus to Aphrodite, played pivotal roles in this war, shaping the fates and fortunes of heroes and kingdoms alike. So, the grand question is, was the Trojan War real or just a myth? Enter one man who firmly believed in the reality of the Trojan War, Heinrich Schliemann. This German businessman, as if stepping right out of a storybook, swapped his ledger for a shovel and turned archaeologist. Fueled by an unwavering belief in the historicity of the Trojan War, he set his sights on Hisarlik, a nondescript mound in modern-day Turkey. Hisarlik, to Schliemann, was more than just a hill. It was the potential site of the legendary city of Troy. The city that was, according to Homer's Iliad, the epicenter of a war that shook the ancient world. And so, with the spirit of an adventurer and the tenacity of a businessman, Schliemann began his excavations in the late 19th century. As he dug deeper into the mound, his conviction grew stronger. He unearthed a series of ancient cities built one on top of the other. He was convinced that the second city from the bottom was the fabled city of Troy. But Schliemann didn't stop at finding the city. He went on to discover a hoard of gold and jewels, which he promptly named Priam's treasure, after King Priam of Troy. Schliemann's discoveries were met with a mix of awe and skepticism. His methods were unorthodox, and his interpretations, critics argued, were often influenced more by his imagination than by archaeological evidence. Despite the controversy, Schliemann had succeeded in inspiring a new wave of interest in the Trojan War. His claims, while grand, were not universally accepted. Many questioned whether the treasures really belonged to King Priam, or whether they were merely the result of Schliemann's wishful thinking. Others debated whether the city he unearthed was indeed Troy, or just an ancient settlement that bore some resemblance to the legendary city. Schliemann's discoveries were groundbreaking, but were they truly evidence of the legendary city of Troy? Schliemann's findings sparked as much controversy as they did excitement. His methods, to put it mildly, were somewhat less than rigorous. He was a man on a mission, and that mission was to find Troy. But in his eagerness, he bulldozed through layers of history with a disregard that made the archaeological world cringe. Critics argued that his interpretations were influenced more by his obsession with Homeric legends than by the actual evidence he uncovered. Despite the controversy, Schliemann's work did open the door to further exploration. Enter Wilhelm Dorpfeld and Carl Blegen, two archaeologists who would leave their own indelible mark on the quest to find Troy. Unlike Schliemann, they approached the task with a meticulousness that would make a Swiss watchmaker envious. Dorpfeld, who worked alongside Schliemann for a while, took over the excavation after Schliemann's death. He discovered that Hisarlik, the site where Schliemann had been digging, was not just one city, but multiple cities built on top of each other. It was like a historical layer cake, each layer representing a different period in history. Blegen, following in Dorpfeld's footsteps, went on to identify 9 layers, or strata, at Hisarlik. One of these, Stratum 7, was particularly intriguing. The artifacts found in this layer and the carbon dating associated with it suggested the presence of a city that existed around the 12th century BC. Now, that's a time frame that syncs up nicely with when the Trojan War is thought to have taken place. But here we hit another snag. While the timeline matches, there's still no concrete evidence linking this city to the legendary Troy. No sign saying "Welcome to Troy," no souvenir shop selling wooden horses. So we've got a city that fits the timeline, but is this truly the fabled city of Troy? Now let's come back to our original question. Was the Trojan War real or just a myth? The Trojan War, as romantic and thrilling as it is, has been a source of debate for centuries. Archaeological discoveries, such as those made by Heinrich Schliemann, suggest the existence of a city that fits the description of ancient Troy. Artifacts and ruins, reminiscent of Homer's epic tales, whisper of a war that once shook the very foundations of this city. Yet the lack of definitive evidence leaves room for skepticism. While the archaeological findings hint at the possibility of a historical Trojan War, they do not conclusively prove it. The artifacts could be remnants of any war, not specifically the legendary battle between the Trojans and the Greeks. The ruins could be of any city, not necessarily the illustrious Troy. So where does that leave us? We find ourselves teetering on the edge of fact and fiction, caught between the tantalizing allure of an epic tale and the cold, hard reality of historical evidence. It is a precarious balance, a dance between what we want to believe and what we can empirically prove. Perhaps the truth of the Trojan War lies somewhere in this grey area, a blend of historical events and mythological embellishments. Maybe there was a war, a city, and a wooden horse, but over time these elements were woven into a grand narrative, embellished with heroes, gods, and monsters. The beauty of the Trojan War saga in this light is not its historical accuracy, but its power to captivate, to inspire, and to endure. It is a story that transcends time and culture, a story that continues to resonate with us, even after thousands of years. So was the Trojan War real or just a myth? The answer is not as straightforward as one might hope, but isn't that the allure of history? The mystery, the debate, the never-ending quest for truth? Whether fact or fiction, the tale of the Trojan War continues to captivate us today, a testament to the enduring power of storytelling. So what have we learned today? We've journeyed from the captivating myths of the Trojan War to the archaeological revelations at Hisarlik. We've pondered over the enigmatic Schliemann's findings and delved into the ongoing debate. Was the Trojan War real or simply a figment of Homer's poetic imagination? The answer, my friends, remains as elusive as the city of Troy itself. Until the day we uncover more evidence, the Trojan War remains a captivating blend of history and myth, forever etched in the annals of human culture.